So today, we're diving into Cloudheim, a physics-based RPG that caught my eye for one reason. It looked incredible. From chaotic intense battles, to hilarious physics-based ragdolls. From base building atop a flying turtle, to dungeons, puzzles, and just a fun time exploring. So let's jump in and begin our journey into Cloudheim. So our journey began with a choice. We had to choose a hero from a long list of characters. Although this was just cosmetic and didn't affect our playstyle. We ended up picking Mana, mostly because I liked her character design the best. Also, she reminded me of the Berserker from Backpack Battle. Okay, full transparency here, that was a quick plug to go and subscribe and also check out my other content. But only if you're actually enjoying the video. Deal? Anyway, back to Cloudheim. After choosing Mana, we're thrown straight into the hardest part of any game, the tutorial. It introduces the movements, combat, and the puzzles we'd be facing later on. But the real highlight was trying out the 4 different classes. First up we got the Runeblade, a sword-wielding spellcaster who can restore their mana when landing a final hit of a combo, but also uses elemental spells as well as healing spells. Next up we got the Breaker, who uses brute force, gets bonus damage against armored enemies, and has an AoE physical skills. And the third class is the Sentinel, a survival expert who uses shield weapons, has utility-based physical skills, and also heals when landing the final hit of a combo. And finally we got the Ranger, a combo assassin who gets bonus damage against vulnerable enemies, is very versatile and has high mobility skills and a fast playstyle. But ultimately I went with the Runeblade. I like the playstyle of using both spells and melee attacks together. And that brought us to the end of the tutorial, where we met Self, who would bring us to the Odin Shell. We arrived at the Odin Shell, only to discover that it was actually a massive flying turtle, which I definitely didn't expect. But here we are, about to build our base right on its back. And Sylph guided us through the basics of our base building and explained that eventually we'd be opening up a shop to sell our goods to travelers from other worlds, which honestly sounds amazing. Turn whatever loot we find into actual monies. But that'll come later. For now, I just wanted to explore. And this is where Sylph gave us a mission to find the vaults of the Odin Shell, a dungeon located to the east of the turtle. And inside we'd have to fight creatures but also track down the World Crucible. And oh, there was definitely some treasure chests as well. Can't forget the loots. Once we secured the Crucible, we could finally craft world seeds, allowing us to travel to other worlds. And our next destination, Arcadia, along with a new goal, to go and find Wren. Upon arriving in Arcadia, we were immediately greeted by an army of little spinning creatures. Not exactly a warm welcome, but after dealing with them, we set out to find Wren, who would help us in these new lands. We needed to make our way to Fibbing Fields, and that's when I realized just how massive Arcadia truly was. There were treasure chests, puzzles, dungeons, and even bosses scattered everywhere. But first, I needed to find Wren. Once we reached Wren, he explained that he needed our help in finding the Frog God. The thing is, the Frog God had gone to find her inner calm after Ragnarok, and these lands were still overflowing with conflict and anguish, which meant we'd have to quell the chaos before disturbing the Frog God. So Wren gave us 3 quests to help reduce the conflict across the lands. Our first quest, settle a family feud between the Grob King and the Grob Usurper. Yep, definitely no dying here, everything went smoothly, but with the power of Phoenix we were fine. Like I said, no dying here. And after that I headed to Spirit Fire Pond, only to be ambushed by an army of little tree stumps. It was a long fight. And after dealing with him, we found our leader, Gnarl, and took care of them too. Only to find out that they were hiding treasure chests, which is awesome. And finally, we made our way to the tree tunnel, where we had to cleanse it. Though I got distracted by an obviously trapped chest, you guessed it, ambush. This time we were caught in a barrier. But somehow we managed to survive. We got the loot and finished cleansing the tunnel. And just like that, we completed all 3 quests Wren had given us. And it was time to return to Wren. After helping to resolve the conflicts across Arcadia, Wren told us her journey wasn't over. We were to help with the Frog God's meditation. But how? By retrieving 2 artifacts, the Bell of Tranquility and the Mountain Owl's Incense. The bell, according to Wren, was brought to these lands by a pirate named Harold, but left behind only a cryptic clue about where he hid it. That clue led us to Golden Galleon Shore, where a ship had crashed and been destroyed. From there we had to find the next clue, which we spent ages and ages and ages trying to find, and turned out to be just in plain hiding. Atop an old tower stood the scared stone statue that we were searching for, and after ascending its rickety stairs and reaching the top, we saw what the stone statue was staring at. Or at least I thought I did. I completely misread the statue's gaze, and it launches into an unconventional journey across the sea. One I wouldn't really call wise. But eventually we figured out it wasn't the right spot. So I decided to make our way back to the stone statue, to have a better look. But we may have accidentally come across the Parched Temple, the location of the Mountain Owl's incense, which was a dungeon locked by a puzzle. It didn't take us too long. We just had to destroy the runes withholding the water that unlocked the dungeon's doors. And once we solved it, we headed in and retrieved the incense. Surprisingly, not too chaotic. But we still needed to return to the tower. But oh hey, we accidentally came across a lone tree where Harold had buried his treasure. Talk about being lucky. Now with both artifacts secured, it was finally time to return to Wren and continue our search for the Frog God. It was time for our final quest, to find the Frog God and discover Frogopolis. But to reach Frogopolis, we first had to solve a puzzle at Rows of Runes, a time test of lighting 3 crystals, which launched us over the sea. Although, it might have overshot us straight into a group of enemies. Well, after fighting through this ambush, we finally arrived in Frogopolis. Alongside it came the Guardians, which led to another fight, but a super chaotic one. After defeating the Guardians, we unlocked the dungeon to where the Frog God was hiding, and so we entered it. We worked our way through the dungeon, defeating creatures and bosses until we reached where the Frog God was resting. It was time to use artifacts we had gathered, using nearby enemies to light the pyres scattered around for the incense. And hanging the Bell of Tranquility, and ringing it to awaken the Frog God. We completed our quest, we had found a Frog God. But this is not where our story ends. We had loot to sell, a base to build, and a friend named Nasher to feed. I wanted to explore the base features a bit more before closing our story, but I won't lie, I might not have dived into it too deeply. Still, we made progress. When returning from our journey, our loot chest is usually bursting with ores, items, and snacks for Nasher, and once opened, explosions of loot. But our first order of business. We built a smelter, then we summoned Tilda the Smith and placed a cleansing pool to wash the corruption from our ores. Once purified, we smelted them into ingots. When we had 3 ingots, Tilda forged us a weapon. It was kinda awesome, and honestly, if it's a duplicate, we could just sell it. Earlier on, Sylph had told us to set up a sales table for our shop. This sales table would allow us to place our loot that we wanted to sell. I might have bought 2 more tables before I opened up the shop, as I had a lot to sell. But travellers poured in, buying our crap, I mean our loot. And before long we made a decent pile of gold. With it we could upgrade their base, unlock new features and keep improving. But once the shop closed for the day, so did our journey. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe. This game was a ton of fun and I'm looking forward to seeing what to do with the game next. But I hope you keep looking for the next video, I'll see you next time.